next 2 days. Please feel free to call me V. Don't worry about professor, don't worry about doctor, it's fine. We're having a conversation here. We're all colleagues here looking into this business of education and how best we can help our students in the classroom to be teachers. Okay? Alright, now let's begin the discussion. Okay. Alright, now why is it uncertain? Because there are lots of things that we once were told no longer works. For example, we once told work hard in school and success will follow. Is it really true now? True, but not so true, right? Right? Because we do have graduates, right, in India who work very hard in their life, but they couldn't quite find success. Right? A good university degree was set up for life. I believe those times when you were a kid, I'm sure your parents told you, yes, you must do that so you can get a good set you up for life. But is it really true? Okay, not really, right? So last time we used to think a singularly named career path. Is it true anymore? No. Because in the past, I believe your parents, or even when you are growing up, your parents, oh, get a government job. That's the best. But is government job the best now? No, right? so notice a lot of things that we used to think is certain is no longer certain. And all these things are changing. And why is it changing? It's because of this. Right? And of course, there was a time when NEP 2020 was launched. What a coincidence, right? Right? So the reason why I say it's visionary, because when they launched it, it was really in the midst of COVID-19. And how it has helped transform education in India up to now, right, is amazing. Okay, so we need to give celebration to that piece of work that was done, and how it has helped India now move forward in terms of education for its children. But I'm going to talk more about the Industrial Revolution first, right? Because this Industrial Revolution has changed the way we learn, work, and live. In the past, it's more like how we live and how we work. But now, it's how we learn as well. Okay, why we say that? Because, well, the Industrial Revolution has gone through different phases. Right? It started off in 1784, as you can see from the diagram. Okay, it started off with mechanization, right? Steam engine. Okay, this is where England was well known for creating the opportunity or the ability to produce fabrics. Right? And that created a big change in how the world functioned in terms of factories. So this is where organized factories start coming about. Right? Now, Industrial 2.0. Right? It's about mass production, and that came about in about 1870. Mass production. This is where we get the mega factories, the big factories that came about. Ford, Henry Ford. If you trace the history of automobiles, Henry Ford is the first successful entrepreneur to have a mass factory, right, to produce cars, right, the T90s, right, for the American consumers. Right? And so this was the rise of this big assembly plants, and lots of people got engaged in the production processes in the factories. Right? Back then, factories was the mainstay, and people go to factories to work, get their money, get salary, and then continue to live their lives. Right? With the money they gain from the factories itself. Right? In many countries in the world, how we became prosperous. The developed countries, how they become prosperous is because of factories. Factories did massive change in the society. It brought many people from the rural areas into the cities, and that's where the cities are growing. And with the spread of the cities itself, you get more services as needed. It's the same thing that's happening in India now. Right? Lots of factories are setting up in India. Foxconn, right, used to have their factories only in China, but now they're setting up in India to produce the iPhones. Right? And there are many big companies that are really looking into the potential of India because it has got good labor force, good education, right? As well as the setup cost is a lot cheaper, right? Because of Mr. Modi's policy, the industrial policy. So, yeah, the resources as well, right? So many big factories are setting up shops, but the problem is, are they really hiring the number of people into the factory? That is the question, right? So we'll talk about that afterwards. Okay, alright, so now Industry 3.0, as you can see, was about 1969, and this is where we saw computers coming in. So computers have changed the way that we work now, right? In fact, now we can't live without the internet, right? Because this is how we connect with our loved ones, this is how our bosses send us work, this is how we connect with the children or the parents. So these are things that we cannot live without now. And of course, this revolution started in 1969. Of course, 4.0, this is where we are now, today. As you can see on the diagram, today, we are at 4.0. Where we're no longer looking at just computers or internet, but now the internet of things. Now, things that can be connected to the internet is now the mainstay. There are many things that we have in our possessions are not connected to the internet. Your mobile phone, for example. Okay, it's all connected to the internet. And your mobile phone is smart enough to know what you are looking for. Nowadays, I'm not sure whether you tried searching on your Google or whatever it is, and then somehow it comes to know what you're looking for, right? Right? And somehow you'll be amazed that, oh, I didn't know this thing has happened or whatever it is, right? So this is the development of Industry 4.0, where the Internet of Things allows data to be transmitted very quickly. And with the data itself, those companies that you are using, the apps, they more or less will figure out what you're looking for. And of course, then they'll send you all the feeds that you are looking for. To enrich your life, maybe, enrich your mind, maybe, and of course to enrich themselves because you're going to buy more things from them.
Please subscribe to Leo News for more videos.